Okay, this is on solving inequalities using the multiplication and division properties of inequality. So remember in the last section we said if you add on one side, you have to add on the other side. If you subtract on one side, you have to subtract on the other side. Well, now the deal is if you multiply on one side, you have to multiply on both sides. And if you divide on one side, you have to divide on both sides. So let's take a look at a couple of these. All right, first example, solve and graph. X divided by 3 is less than -2. So for dividing by 3, that means we would have to multiply by 3 on both sides to cancel the dividing by 3. So that leaves us with x is less than -6. So graphing, we start at -6, less than would go this direction, and it's not equal to, so it will be an open circle. Now there's going to be a rule when we multiply or divide by a negative number. You must flip the inequality symbol. Okay, and I'm going to try and explain to you why that must be. If you think about having an inequality, let's just say 5 is greater than 2. If I multiply by a negative number, let's just multiply by -1. Now we have -5 is greater than -2. 5 is greater than 2 is true, but -5 is less than -2. So -5, we would have to flip that around to keep it true. Anytime we multiply or divide by a negative number in our step, we have to flip the inequality symbol because it makes our inequality false otherwise. All right, so here's another example. We have n, -n divided by 3 is less than -1. Now, this negative sign can float to the top and be in front of the n. It can also float to the bottom and be in front of the 3. I'm going to take it to the bottom and be in front of the 3 so that I can get rid of it in one step. So if I'm dividing by -3, the opposite is to multiply by -3. Cancels that. Negative times negative is positive over here. But what did I forget to do? Flip my inequality symbol. So this should be n is greater than 3 because when I multiplied by -3 on both sides as my step, I have to flip the inequality symbol. All right, so n greater than 3, here's 3, not equal to, so it's just greater than. Same thing's going to be true for division. If we have -5x greater than or equal to -10, to get rid of the -5 here that's multiplied, we will divide by -5, both sides of the equal sign. When we multiply or divide by a negative, we must flip the inequality symbol. So this is x is less than 2 or equal to, so we're closing this one in. All right, just a few more here. 7x is less than -14, divide by 7. X is less than -2. Do we want to flip it? No, we did not divide by a negative, so we don't want to flip the symbol. It's going to stay exactly like it was. Dividing by a +7 doesn't change it. All right, so less than -2, here's -2, less than, it's not equal to. All right, finally, a student club plans to buy food for a soup kitchen. Case of vegetable soup costs $10.68 and the club can spend at most $50 for this project. What are the possible number of cases of food that they can buy? So we have $10.68 for a case. At most, in other words, all we have is $50. So the number of cases times 1068 has to be less than or equal to $50 because that's all we have. So if we divide by 1068, cancels that. And the number of cases, if we actually divide this, is going to turn out to be 4 point something. I'm pretty sure most places that you go, if you want to buy a case of something, you're not going, if they sell it by the case, you can't open it and just take part of the case. So the number of possible cases you could buy would be 4 or less. Okay, so we would have a decimal answer there, but we wouldn't really want to include point, something for our answer because we can't buy part of a case. And even though it would round up, we don't want to round it up because we don't have enough money to buy that that extra part of the case. So 4.68 is the actual decimal, but we are just going to say less than or equal to 4. So they could buy 1 case, 2 cases, 3 cases, or 4 cases. Or I guess 0 if they didn't want to buy any. Okay, and I think that does it for this lesson.